Hi YouTube, Stephen here. Just come to you today on a blustery, windy, rainy, chilly Sunday morning here in Iowa. Got shorts on. That's not going to last. I got up this morning, made Louisa breakfast. Some wonderful breakfast burritos and a couple of Bloody Marys to start the day. And temperature's dropping. So yeah, spring's trying to come, but it's just not making it. Smoking today my new Merchant Service long Bing pipe. Man, loving this thing. The smoke's like a dream. The only drawback is the length of that is really tough with a pipe cleaner. You can't get down there. You got to kind of hold it this way and whatnot. But it's a great pipe. It feels great in the hand. Got some GOP's spark plug I got from Eddie over at Pipe Nook. It's good. It's a bit damp for me, so I'm having to do a lot of relights. But it being Sunday, just kind of touching base with the virus situation, what we're doing on the weekends. Not a lot. We usually go out shopping once for groceries and things like that. We went yesterday to one of the actually larger grocery stores that has a nursery in the summer and bought a whole bunch of flowers. I may show you around here. Kind of an instant garden kind of a deal. But this is my little deck area out in the back where I spend a lot of time. It's funny with all the social distancing guidelines and things. Somebody like me that spent my life social distancing, it's no big deal, you know. Louisa likes to go out and hit the malls and the shopping and the things that girls like to do, but I like to be at home and be out in the woods and things like that. I don't spend a lot of time with a lot of other people, so I'm pretty happy here. But when you're home a lot, you're kind of forced to be home a lot. Of course, my passion is reading, and boy, I've been just flying through the books. Got a couple of them in the mail here recently, and finished 2 of them already, and halfway through another. Actually, Justine got me this one I'll talk about here. I read a lot of different things, at the same time. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 books at a time, and when I start to kind of get bored with one, I'll drop it and pick up another one and work my way through, kind of hopscotching my way through books. And I started kind of working my way through Hemingway. I've got a set of Hemingway books, and I've not read many of them. So I was touching on those quite a bit, and then I found a fella that is in the Facebook group, the Gentleman's Pipe Smoking Society, and he had posted some pictures of some screenshots of some of his pages that he's written. He's a poet and a writer, author, and seems like a heck of a nice guy. And I got a couple of his books, and I'll talk about those here in a little bit too. But yeah, it's a great way to spend the time, and I find a lot of joy in reading. First book I'll talk about is, I believe, based on, and I hope the author isn't watching. I love the book, and Justine got me the book. I truly love it, but it was on a list of books that I kind of keep, so I can not forget them and buy them when I have time and money. But she had found this list, and she bought me this book, and I love the book, but I suspect, I don't know a lot about publishing, and if Nick sees this, he might be able to explain it, but I suspect this was self-published. A guy probably just types this up on his computer and sends it to a bookbinder, and they make a book. Because the very first thing I noticed was reading the back cover, and there's 2 or 3 typos on the back cover, which give me kind of a chuckle. And all through the book, it's kind of like reading the first draft of a kid's essay at school. It's full of errors and full of mispronounced words or misused words and things, but the story's good. So as I say, I love the book. It's maybe you've heard of it, us pipe smokers. It's The Adventures of a Pipe Traveler by David Sennek. Mr. Sennek has done a lot of different things in his life, and I'm going to put this pipe down before I drop it. Oops. Put it right here in the flowers. Primarily, he's a truck driver. He's traveled all over the country, and he speaks of all the pipe shops that he goes to. And for a pipe smoker, cigar smoker, it's pretty interesting. You know, some of the places that he's gone that we've all heard of through the years, it's pretty interesting, his take on it, you know, and the way he travels with his 18-wheeler to some of these places, parks in the road, runs in, and you know, he's got kind of a rule that if he visits a pipe shop or tobacco shop, that he wants to buy something, and just his journey through the pipe and cigar hobby or tobacco hobby. So I'll just read a little bit here. During a typical tobacco run, we would start off by taking the back roads down to downtown Flint, Michigan, where Paul's Pipe Shop was located. Walking into Paul's really was like a time warp. Paul had been in the pipe trade for 63 years when I met him in the early 90s. I'm pretty sure he's been in the business well over 75 years now. Paul himself doesn't come to the shop much anymore, as he is 100 years old now. The day-to-day running of the shop is done by his sonny, Danny Spinolio, who also has a hand in overseeing the goings-on of the Arrowhead Pipe Club, which is sponsored by the Paul's Pipe Shop. Walking into Paul's, you're first stunned by the sheer volume of pipes on display in cases lining the walls. Every nook and cranny has something tobacco-related stuck in it. I'm not just talking about the display cases. There are pipes all the way to the ceiling. Every type of pipe you could ever imagine can be found. If by some type of fluke the certain pipe you're looking for can't be found, just tell Danny or another shop clerk what exactly you've got in mind, and sure enough, they will magically produce what you want from a corner out of sight or a bottom drawer behind the pipe cases lining the shop. Along the walls beyond the main store sits the pipe hospital, where pipes are brought back to life while others just need a minor repair. The walls in this area are covered with memorabilia and pictures of Paul with various celebrities throughout his 80-plus years as a tobacconist, blessed with the old-time traditions of the ways of the pipe. Upstairs you'll find a pipe museum. One wall of the museum is dedicated to the International Association of Pipe Smokers Clubs, better known as the IAPSC. Paul started the IAPSC many years ago, and along with it started a pipe smoking contest that is held yearly by the hosting club of that year. Every winner from the first contest to the present has his or her picture along with the winner's pipe that they used to win and the record of their time. Paul won the contest 6 or 7 times, a feat he's quite proud of. So that gives you an idea. You know, this fellow, he's done a lot of different jobs. Long haul trucker, delivery type trucker, logging trucker. He became a logger. He worked in oil rigs. He delivered pipe to oil rigs. It's a good read. Like I said, it's sometimes trying when you get into it, and there's a lot of typos and a lot of misused words and things. But the gist of it is a pretty good book. You know, he does get he's up in the Pacific Northwest working in the logging camps and running logging trucks and actually working as a logger, and so he's got some. And I'm only about halfway through. I got my matchstick bookmark there. He spent a lot of time as a logger, and so he's got some distinct viewpoints on, how did he call it, Volvo, Subaru, driving lefty tree hugger weirdos, or that sort of thing, which I fit, you know, some of those. But so, you know, you take it with a grain of salt. But like I say, the book is a good one. I think it's an Amazon book. I think Justine got it on Amazon. Pretty inexpensive, but check it out. There's that. And the other 2 books I've got here are by a fellow, like I said, I found on the Facebook group I belong to, the Gentlemen's Pipe Smoking Society, I think it is. His name is Nicholas Trandahl, Trandahl. And I found Nick first when I think he'd posted a couple of. He must do Instagram because sets up these beautiful pictures of his pipe and his mug of coffee and things. And he had posted some pictures of screenshots of some of his stories. And I actually screenshotted those and said, "Oh, I gotta check this guy out sometime." So I got on Amazon and found a few of his books, and I got these two. And the first one that I got, due to shipping situation right now with Amazon and some of the other online places, it took me about a month to get one of them and just a couple of weeks to get the first one. So, you know, it worked out good because Pulling Words is a book of poetry by Nick, and I flew right through this thing. Boy, it's a very good read. If you like poetry at all, it's a beautiful book. I'll just read one of them here quick. Get my little bookmark out here so I can light my pipe with it later. This one's called The Shades of the Leaves. Fondly, I remember yellow, the birch leaves shivering in the crisp air, thirsty cottonwoods shining like treasure, blazing like fire. Contentedly, I remember orange, the stained oak leaves ablaze in October, boldly hued pumpkins in furrowed fields, later to be carved into faces. Anxiously, I remember scarlet, the rusty boughs of sugary maples, hot blood poured from a hunted stag beneath a bloody sunset. Bitterly, I remember brown, the venerable trees, angular and nude, turkeys stalking warily in leaves dead and brittle. Sullenly, I remember gray, the clouds above, thick and blanketing, dreary cold fog at dawn, seasoned the smoke of smoldering leaves. Good book. If you like poetry, inexpensive book, very well written. I just really, like I said, I flew right through this one, and I'm going to keep it close at hand because there's lots of nice stuff in it to look back on. So then it took a little longer to get this one. This one is actually a novel called An Uncomfortable Life by Nicholas Trandahl. And this one's interesting that it weaves a pretty good a web here. It's set in 4 different places, 4 different times. It's in Paris, 1925, Massachusetts, present day, Paris, 1944, and Virginia in the Blue Ridge Mountains in the present day. And the way it ties together, boy, it's a great book. I got through this one pretty quickly. One of the characters, the one in Virginia, is kind of a mountain man, hermit, recluse individual, and because Nick is a pipe smoker, so is his character. And I really enjoyed that. I think, if I look back, I believe it was the 2nd page of the book. Yeah, his only companions were the straight stem pipe that protruded from his lips and trailed a ribbon of bluish pipe smoke through the crisp air, and the largely empty bottle of French red wine that he held loosely by its glass neck as he strode in the easy staggered gait that accompanied too much tipsiness. 2nd page, actually 1st page, and you're already reading about pipes. Well, that's going to be a winner. So let me read a little bit here about this fella. His name's Dixon. Well, sort of. Let's see. His bright amber eyes took in the shelves of cigarettes. He's in a kind of a little store in a small town in Virginia, and he's shopping for the things that he needs. He can't get by hunting and fishing and things like that. So he says his bright amber eyes took in the shelves of cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco and snuff, and pipe tobacco behind the counter. His gruff voice, a little rough and flinty with disuse, responded, "Couple tins of Irish oak tobacco." So, there you go. Lots of pipe smoking. He's always got a pipe clenched in his mouth. he gets back to his cabin and he's got a rack of pipes. So it's one of those things that we can sort of relate to, and it's a good read. So if you're into that Facebook group, Nick posts on there quite a bit, the Gentlemen's Pipe Smoking Society. We've chatted back and forth in comments a few times, and he seems like a heck of a guy. He's got a new book coming out that's in the process right now of being, I think, proofread and corrections and modifications and things like that. And one thing he did mention to me, I sent him a picture of this pipe, or this book, with smoking a pipe, and said I was having a good read with it, and he said, I got one of the last available copies of this book ever. Apparently, the publishing house that published this, I think he said, was going out of business or went out of business, and he decided to just let this book die with it. And I responded that not knowing the publishing world, that it's hard for me to understand, because it's a good book, and I don't know why people wouldn't just keep it going. But I'm sure business reasons that I don't understand. But I found it on Amazon. I don't know if there are any other copies left. He says they're being traded on the internet or sold and things, probably eBay, that sort of thing. But if you can find it, I'd really recommend it. So that's pretty much how I'm spending my time here in our. We're not locked down here now. Actually, things are kind of opening up now, which is fine. People want to go back to the mall, go ahead. They want to go to the restaurants, go ahead. We're having a good time staying home, so we go out for the things we need and just trying to stay safe. I keep using the phrase with this virus. I don't like to poke the bear. Just let the bear sleep. I don't want to